This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
It's a fascinating time to be a wrestling fan, and I can only imagine what it must be like to be in the business. You know, people always talk about how, the business has changed. I'm talking 2020 now, 2021, in fact, but, it's not like it used to be. And, these guys need to slow down, just the evolution of everything that has changed in professional wrestling. But the business was already changing here in 85 from the way it was, not even 10 years prior, 5 years prior, right?
Well, you had more action, and even if it was in the form of a, double drop kick by the Rock and Roll Express, that was up a level from, what guys had done in the past. And you looked at the fact that guys were not all monsters. There were some guys coming along that were smaller, Midnight, Rock and Roll. Buddy Landell was certainly no monster. There was new talent coming along, that were changing the face of what was believable and credible. And, a lot more, let's just say, now you started to have some extraordinary bodies show up, the Nikita Koloffs, and, wouldn't be too long before the Lugers and the Billy Grahams, and all these guys were just phenomenal. Jimmy Snuka. I know we're getting a little bit off course here, but just telling you that these type guys were starting to show up. There were different animals that were appearing as a professional wrestler from what it had been in, let's just say, the 70s.
It's interesting to take a look at this era and think about, with the context of 2021, what all's different. Here's an example. On June 29th, you guys are running Augusta, Georgia. Once again, it's Dick Slater and Buzz Sawyer taking on Ole and Arn Anderson in the semi-main event. But 2 days later, on June 30th, 1985, Cody Rhodes is born. And knowing what's going on now in 2021 with AEW, and that you guys are back together, and of course all the tangled webs that the Rhodes and the Andersons would weave as a part of that Four Horsemen storyline here in the next coming years, I can't look at that and not smile and think about, boy, if we only knew back then. If we were to go back and talk to Marty Lundy here on June 30th, 1985, and say, see that baby Dusty's got in that picture right there? One day you're going to walk to the ring with him. That's cool, man.
He's going to be my boss.
That baby right there one day is going to tell you what to do.
I got no problem him being my boss, or Dustin for that matter. It's if you go back and look at the Crockett eras, and we take wrestling out of it for just a moment, during that year period, it's like Cody was born. My son, Barrett, my oldest, was born. Somewhere in there, Charlotte Flair was born. There were a lot of babies that were born that are now in the business.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it was such I can't tell you what a family atmosphere it was, amongst teams. I mean, the Four Horsemen, the reason it worked well is because we were friends, and we trained together, and we traveled together, and we had a few brewskis together, and we would go to the lake together, or we'd go to Rick's and lay out by the pool together. And the Rock and Roll Express, they were friends, and Dusty and Magnum, they were like father and son. It was a close-knit group in those days. And Jim Crockett Promotions as a whole, because this thing was getting ready to pop, and it was starting to be, catch on, like we used to call it, on fire. And all these, more talent was coming in at these times and freshening everything up. And it was just one of those deals that you felt this thing is percolating and it is fixing to pop. And just one of the things that was going on was all the wives were having babies. All the guys were buying houses And that would be start to come within the next year, when business would get on fire. But, it just was a family setting, and you were achieving all these things together, and you could feel it, and it was a family atmosphere, and you were drawing money together. Your lives were intertwined, and it was just, it was a different feel. Of course, now, guys that work for an individual company, whether it's WWE or AEW, they all live all over the country. Everybody lived in Charlotte, and that gave it, that was, Charlotte was home and for everybody, and everybody was operating in and out of Charlotte. So just had a different feel to it.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.